After that, Lin Jing got up, picked up the storage bag of the cultivator in white, and then his divine sense probed inside. However, there were restrictions on this storage bag, which blocked Lin Jing's divine sense from entering. But since the cultivator in white was dead, even with the restrictions, they were ineffective. Lin Jing simply exerted a little force, and the restrictions were broken by his powerful divine sense. Next, Lin Jing's divine sense easily entered the storage bag. Piles of earth spirit stones, alchemy and artifact refining materials, as well as talismans and formation materials were all available. As expected of an island master, the contents of his storage bag were truly abundant, with many artifact refining and formation materials piled up together. But Lin Jing did not pay attention to the pile of artifact refining materials. Instead, he directly probed toward a stack of jade slips on the side. One white jade slip attracted Lin Jing's attention. Lin Jing's divine sense reached out to it, and when it reached the large characters at the end, he was suddenly stunned, because those characters engraved on the jade slip were Ling Yu Jianju. Lin Jing was first stunned, then couldn't help but secretly think, could the records within this jade slip be the Ling Yu Jianju? To verify its authenticity, Lin Jing immediately picked up the jade slip. Then, ignoring Zhang Jian's surprised look, he directly probed into it with his divine sense. After a moment, Lin Jing's face was filled with excitement, and he withdrew his divine sense. This was indeed the Ling Yu Jianju, and this was the complete Ling Yu Jianju with all 9 levels. Previously, the Ling Yu Jianju that Lin Jing had obtained only had 6 levels, which could only be cultivated up to the Golden Core stage. But this complete 9-level Ling Yu Jianju could be cultivated up to the nascent soul stage with advanced sword techniques. It was just unexpected that this Ling Yu Jianju would be in this person's possession. However, why had this person not used the Ling Yu Jianju during the battle against him? The Ling Yu Jianju was not weak, and it also had the effect of hiding. He had no reason not to use it, unless he hadn't cultivated the Ling Yu Jianju at all. To say that one had obtained the complete Ling Yu Jianju, anyone would not be able to resist cultivating it. There was only one possibility then. It was that the Ling Yu Jianju, along with that Taoist shield, had just been acquired by the cultivator in white. He simply did not have the time to cultivate it. Thinking this, Lin Jing probed into the storage bag with his divine sense again. It did not take long for Lin Jing to find what he was looking for: a broken transparent flying sword, and also an unknown transparent metal. These 2 items were obviously related to the Ling Yu Jianju. Lin Daoyu, what's the matter with you? Zhang Jian, seeing Lin Jing alternate between excitement and thoughtfulness, couldn't help but become curious. Lin Jing then replied, "Nothing. I just found the continuation of a cultivation technique, so I was inevitably a bit excited." Zhang Jian immediately understood and congratulated him. Then congratulations to Lin Daoyu. As soon as Zhang Jian finished speaking, Lin Jing directly took out a book from the storage bag and threw it to Zhang Jian, saying, "Aren't you an array master? This should be helpful to you. I'm giving it to you." Zhang Jian caught the book that Lin Jing threw over and looked at it. It turned out to be a commentary on 4th rank formations. Zhang Jian was pleased and then asked Lin Jing, "Lin Daoyu, is this for me?" Lin Jing nodded and said, "Yes, it's for you." This commentary on 4th rank formations was just right for someone like Zhang Jian, a 3rd rank array master, to study. To a 4th rank array master like Hala 3 Rivers, who had his own unique insights into 4th rank formations, this commentary would be of little use. And since Lin Jing was not planning to study the way of formations, it was most appropriate to give this commentary on 4th rank formations to Zhang Jian. Then, many thanks to Lin Daoyu. Zhang Jian, having received the commentary on formations, said happily. Following that, Lin Jing asked Zhang Jian, "By the way, that cave where he was hiding earlier, have you explored it?" Zhang Jian shook his head and said, "No, I have been following behind you, and I didn't have the chance to check it out." "I see." Lin Jing nodded slightly. Then he said to Zhang Jian again, "I think we can go in and explore it together now." "Sure." Zhang Jian did not hesitate and immediately nodded in agreement. He also wanted to see what was in the cave where the Taoist shield was found. Afterward, Lin Jing took the Taoist shield and other items and put them away. Then he and Zhang Jian went to the cave they had visited earlier. Arriving at the entrance of the cave, to be safe, the two once again activated the secret treasure formation plate. Then, they both stepped through the mountain wall. With that step, he directly entered the cave. The cave was not large, and as Lin Jing and Zhang Jian walked side by side inside, it felt somewhat crowded. The deeper they went, the narrower it became. One in front of the other, they continued walking deeper into the cave. Just like this, through the winding cave, after nearly half an hour, the two finally reached the innermost part of the cave. Inside the cave, apart from a set of dry bones in the middle, there was nothing else. The moment he saw the dry bones, Lin Jing understood. It was probable that the cultivator in white had obtained the shield artifact, along with other items, from this skeleton. Then, Lin Jing approached the skeleton. There used to be clothing on the skeleton, but now it was all decayed into fragments, scattered all around. Although it had been dead for a long time, one could still feel a trace of its imposing aura from the skeleton. It seemed that the skeleton must have been very powerful in life. Lin Jing also wanted to use his divine sense to explore further. But the owner of the skeleton may have been dead, yet the terrifying aura on the body caused a great obstacle to Lin Jing's divine sense. Helpless, Lin Jing gave up on the idea of using divine sense to explore. Seeing that the investigation with divine sense was not an option, Lin Jing and Zhang Jian searched around the cave and found nothing. Lin Jing guessed it was just those few items, all taken by the white-clothed cultivator. With that in mind, Lin Jing and Zhang Jian decided to leave the cave. After discussing, neither of them touched the skeleton. Before leaving, Lin Jing came before the skeleton, bowed deeply, and then prepared to leave. After all, it was very likely that this skeleton was the creator of the Lingyin Yu Jianju, the true master Lingyin. Having obtained his cultivation technique, paying respects with a bow was not excessive. But just as Lin Jing was about to leave, he suddenly felt something under his foot. So, Lin Jing stepped back and looked down. He saw that the ground at his feet was slightly raised compared to other parts of the cave, and there were signs of a cut. However, since the interior of the cave was not particularly smooth to begin with, and there were those tattered pieces of clothing everywhere, no one would have noticed it. Thereupon, Lin Jing squatted down and grasped the stone, lifting it gently. After lifting the stone, there was something resembling the hide of a demonic beast underneath. Lin Jing then picked up the demonic beast hide. The hide seemed to contain something else, which felt very hard to the touch. Lin Jing then opened the demonic beast hide and saw what was inside. It was a reddish token of an unknown material. On the front of the token, the two characters' 5 elements were written. Then, Lin Jing also found some writing inside the hide. I, Ling Yin, the true master Qian Yi from Yutian Island, have been harmed by the Yutian Island master Li Wuming. Whoever obtains this 5 elements command, remember, Li Wuming is extremely cunning, a thorough scoundrel, not to be trusted. This token is the 5 elements command token. To enter the 5 elements ruins, you must collect all 5 tokens. If possible, I hope the person who obtains these tokens will avenge me. If the task is impossible, I hope you, fellow Taoist, will spread this message so that those who follow will be wary of Li Mingwu. In no time, Lin Jing finished reading what was written on the demonic beast hide. After reading what was written on the hide, Lin Jing fell silent for a moment. The implications of this matter were significant, and Lin Jing did not dare take it lightly. Although Lin Jing had not heard of Li Mingwu, his cultivation must have been not weak. After so many years, if he were still alive, he would have likely reached a realm beyond divinity transformation. Lin Jing had not forgotten, previously, at the auction at Yubela in Fong Market of Nanming, it was mentioned that Ling Yin was a figure from 2,000 years ago. His enemy was not someone Lin Jing could afford to provoke now. However, After so much time had passed, the enemy of Ling Yin was probably long gone. Therefore, Lin Jing put away the 5 elements command token right away. As for Ling Yin's enemy Li Mingwu, after going out, Lin Jing could inquire about him first. If he was still alive, then Lin Jing could plan in the long term. If he was dead, Lin Jing could also come back to inform Ling Yin, which would be a kind of solace. After finishing his thoughts, Lin Jing said to Zhang Jian, "Let's leave." Zhang Jian, despite being curious about Lin Jing's reaction just now, did not ask any questions. Afterward, the two of them left the cave together. On the way back, Lin Jing said to Zhang Jian, "Do you want to come back with me now?" However, Yanshi is not there and might take a few days to return. Zhang Jian shook his head and said, "No, I need to go back to Xianyu Island to take care of some things first. I'll look for you guys after I'm finished. By the way, where are you staying?" "Bihai City." It was then that Lin Jing realized he had not yet informed Zhang Jian of his current residence. Subsequently, Lin Jing spoke. "We are currently staying on Liyan Island." No sooner had Lin Jing finished speaking than Zhang Jian immediately came to a halt and looked at Lin Jing in disbelief. "Liyan Island?" The outside world has been abuzz with rumors that Liyan Island was recently breached by a named Golden Core cultivator, and that the trap-killing formation protecting it was deciphered. Even the island master Dai, Mao, was severely injured and fled. Could it be that Lin Daoyu was involved in this? Lin Jing nodded and said, "Yes, it was us." Zhang Jian's eyes bulged as if he had been choked, and after a long while, he finally blurted out, "Good." After a moment, Zhang Jian recovered and addressed Lin Jing. "Then I'll come to Liyan Island a few days later, after I'm done with my affairs, to find you." Subsequently, the two boarded the flying boat and left the uninhabited island. No sooner had they returned to Liyan Island than Yu Qinyang came up to greet them. "Island Master Lin, you finally returned." As she spoke, Yu Qinyang took out 2 storage bags and handed them over. "These are the storage bags of the 2 Golden Core cultivators you killed. Please keep them safe, Island Master Lin." Lin Jing nodded, taking the storage bags. He then asked Yu Qinyang, "How are things now with Qi Yao and that internal traitor?" Yu Qinyang replied, "To the Island Master, Qi Yao is now under supervision in the council hall in Liyan City, and the traitor has also been captured." Lin Jing nodded his head and then inquired, "Who is the traitor?" "To the Island Master, the traitor is Wang Pan." "Wang Pan, it turned out to be him." Lin Jing frowned and said, "Yes." Yu Qinyang lowered her head. Lin Jing was also aware of Wang Pan. He hadn't previously followed Dai Mao, but was an indigenous cultivator of Liyan Island. After driving Dai Mao away, he had kept a low profile. In particular, during the construction of Liyan City, he had been very dedicated, even providing several professional suggestions, earning Yin Wanfei's high regard. He was even granted a certain amount of authority. However, it was never expected that he would be a traitor. "Let's go, we'll go see them." As Lin Jing's words fell, Yu Qinyang spoke up, unable to help but express her concern. "Island Master Lin, that Yuxing Island Master." "Don't worry, the Yuxing Island Master has already fallen." After Lin Jing finished speaking, he headed towards Liyan City. Yu Qinyang breathed a sigh of relief and closely followed Lin Jing towards Liyan City. The council hall in Liyan City was within the Island Lord Mansion. However, this Island Lord Mansion was merely used for routine meetings, as the several island masters, like Lin Jing, usually did not reside here. Since they had taken over the entire island, it was natural to start governing it. And as they all lacked the spare time to govern, they entrusted the management to local cultivators like Yu Qinyang. They allowed them to self-manage, while the island masters, as the highest martial force on the island, would only take action if there was an invasion by external enemies. Upon arriving at the council hall, 2 cultivators responsible for supervising Qi Yao and Wang Pan stood up and respectfully addressed Lin Jing. "Island Master Lin." Previously, they had been indifferent towards Lin Jing, knowing only that this Island Master Lin was an alchemist who stayed out of public affairs. But today's events had left them utterly shocked. instantly killing 2 early-stage golden core cultivators and then chasing down the mid-stage golden core Yuxing Island Master alone. Lin Jing, with only the cultivation of the first layer of golden core, turned out to be incredibly powerful, which was beyond everyone's expectations. Now that Island Master Lin had returned, it was likely that the Yuxing Island Master's fate was grim. Therefore, the two of them were genuinely respectful towards Lin Jing. Lin Jing nodded and then turned his gaze toward Wang Pan, who was bound, and Qi Yao, who had his cultivation destroyed by Lin Jing and was slumped on the ground, lifeless. Qi Yao showed no reaction when Lin Jing entered the room. Meanwhile, Wang Pan seemed quite agitated. Island Master Lin, I know I was wrong. Please, Island Master Lin, spare me. I did it because Qi Yao coerced me. It was not my true intention. I beg for your mercy, Island Master Lin. Lin Jing merely glanced at Wang Pan, and then a 5-colored aurora shot out from his fingertip, entering Wang Pan's body. Wang Pan was instantly immobilized, unable to make any sound. Whatever the cause, Wang Pan had done what he had done. Lin Jing had no concern for his reasons. At present, Lin Jing had an interrogation with Qi Yao to conduct, so Wang Pan would have to be silenced first. Otherwise, his incessant noise would be quite bothersome. After sealing Wang Pan, Lin Jing approached Qi Yao. Only then did Qi Yao lift his head and look at Lin Jing before drooping his head again. Now, he no longer had the previous sinister air to him. Instead, he bore the look of one utterly disinterested in life. Clearly, the fact that Lin Jing destroyed his cultivation had dealt him a significant blow. Lin Jing then asked Yu Qingyang, "Before I returned, had you interrogated him?" Yu Qingyang replied, "To Island Master Lin. We did try to interrogate him, but he is so disheartened he refuses to say anything. Furthermore, since you've destroyed his cultivation, fearing that he wouldn't be able to withstand more, we didn't use other methods and were just waiting for you, the Island Master, to personally interrogate him." Lin Jing nodded. He then looked at Qi Yao and said, "Are you going to speak on your own, or do I need to perform a soul search?" Lin Jing had no kindness to spare for Qi Yao. At the mention of soul search, Qi Yao's body visibly shuddered. Then, he raised his head and looked at Lin Jing. His face was no longer that of someone who had given up on life, but was instead filled with madness. "Haha, soul search, you've been wanting to do this all along, haven't you? Pretending to be all righteous. Do you think you'll let me go? It's just a matter of victors and losers. Since you want a soul search, then go ahead. Let your subordinates see your cruel nature. Others might fear you, but I am not afraid." Having said that, Qi Yao lifted his head high, assuming the pose of a man prepared to face his fate with fortitude. "I'm sure you're well aware of what you've done. Naturally, I won't let you off easily. However, if you confess on your own, then I won't need to apply the soul-searching technique, and you won't have to endure the pain anymore. Otherwise, you won't escape the fate of your soul being scattered to the winds." Having said this, Lin Jing's gaze was intense as he looked at Qi Yao, whose cultivation had been crippled, and he asked again, "So, will you confess by yourself, or shall I resort to the soul-searching technique?" Under Lin Jing's stare, the madness on Qi Yao's face slowly faded away, and fear gradually took its place. I'll tell. Actually, there were reasons for this. The agony of soul-searching was one part of it. The other part was that, during the moment Lin Jing looked at him, he subtly exerted his divine sense to dredge up the deep-seated fear in his heart. The reason Lin Jing did so was that he didn't want to employ methods like soul-searching. Although soul-searching could extract the information he wanted, it also had certain effects on the person using it. Thus, apart from those daring demon cultivators, other people would avoid using the soul-searching technique as much as possible. Of course, the Wukai Immortal had also wanted to soul-search Lin Jing before, but there were reasons for that. The Wukai Immortal at that time merely wanted to meddle during the soul search to cripple Lin Jing's cultivation. That's why he was so aggressive and unreasonable. Afterward, Qi Yao began to recount. "Actually, I came here because on the Yin Island, there's a secret treasure location that Dai Mao visits every so often. I discovered it only after spending a lot of time with Dai Mao. Previously, Qi Yao continued speaking, and Lin Jing kept staring into his eyes. At the same time, his divine sense enveloped Qi Yao, watching every single move he made. The purpose was to verify whether Qi Yao was lying or not. Under the surveillance of Lin Jing's divine sense, any slight abnormality in Qi Yao's behavior couldn't escape Lin Jing's observation. As Qi Yao spoke incessantly, Lin Jing and the others listened intently. That's how it is. It wasn't until half an hour later that Qi Yao finished spelling out everything. After he finished, Lin Jing and his companions fell into silence for a moment. In fact, the matter was quite simple. Qi Yao had previously followed Dai Mao and inadvertently discovered that Dai Mao would disappear every now and then. It was only after secretly paying attention and investigating that Qi Yao found out that Dai Mao would visit a valley in the northern part of Lian Island with some regularity. Moreover, each time Dai Mao emerged from a valley, his cultivation would improve slightly. Thus, Qi Yao thought that there must be a treasure within the valley that could enhance his cultivation. Previously, as long as Dai Mao was on the island without leaving, Qi Yao didn't dare harbor other intentions and remained exceedingly honest and dutiful. But this time, the opportunity arose. The outside world was abuzz with rumors that Dai Mao was gravely injured and had fled, and there were no reports of him taking any treasures with him. So, Qi Yao assumed that the treasure was still in the valley. He then secretly contacted the island master of Yuxing Island, seizing the chance to take over Lian Island and then to stealthily find the treasure that could enhance his cultivation. Originally, according to his plan, once he obtained the treasure, he would just flee. By then, it wouldn't matter to him whether it was Lu Yojiao and the others returning or Dai Mao coming back for revenge. It was a nice thought, but unfortunately, he encountered Lin Jing. Qi Yao never imagined that Lin Jing, who stayed on the island, would be so strong. Therefore, he miscalculated. Throughout the entire narration, Qi Yao was under Lin Jing's supervision. Therefore, there was not the slightest chance of him lying. Where is that valley? Lin Jing continued to ask. It's at the northernmost edge of Lian Island, on the western side of the mountain peak closest to the sea, an inconspicuous valley. That's all I know. Now that I've told everything, Island Master Lin, could you possibly spare me? My cultivation has already been destroyed. I pose no threat to you. Lin Jing looked at Qi Yao and saw fear in his eyes, as well as a longing for life. Although his cultivation was destroyed, he still wished to live. However, Lin Jing remained unmoved and directly said to Qi Yao, I said I wouldn't let you suffer. Upon hearing this, Qi Yao's face turned ashen. He opened his mouth, as if he wanted to say something, but ultimately no words came out. After all, considering his previous actions, if it were someone else, they wouldn't have bothered with such trouble and would have directly used the soul-searching technique. Afterward, Lin Jing directly activated his divine sense, and with an overwhelming force, instantly shattered Qi Yao's sea of consciousness. And in an instant, Qi Yao's eyes lost their focus. Then, with a thud, he fell to the ground. Nobody present felt sympathy for Qi Yao's death. If he had succeeded, their fate might have been even worse than his. They probably would have been tortured even more cruelly. After the death of Qi Yao, those present turned their attention to another person, Wang Pan. Wang Pan was a traitor inside the island who helped them sabotage the formations protecting the island. In comparison to Qi Yao, his actions were even more despicable. Moreover, after destroying the formation, he was discovered, and in his attempt to escape pursuit, Wang Pan even killed several cultivators on the island. Among these cultivators, some are even his closely acquainted brothers from before. Island Master Lin, how shall we deal with Wang Pan? One of the cultivators guarding Wang Pan asked respectfully with a cupped fist salute. Although Wang Pan couldn't move or speak, his eyes begged pleadingly at Lin Jing, desperately seeking Lin Jing's forgiveness. Lin Jing looked at Wang Pan and directly spoke. Actually, Island Master Yin mentioned you to me before. He thought you were decent, and even planned to arrange some tests for you, then help you advance to Golden Core and assist us in managing Liyan Island. Now, it seems unnecessary. Lin Jing's words made Wang Pan's breath catch, and his eyes were filled with deep remorse. Lin Jing then continued, "Rest assured, I won't kill you. As for your punishment, I think it's better to leave it to Island Master Yin." Having said that, Lin Jing stretched out his hand, conjuring a streak of five-colored radiance. Then the five-colored radiance flew out and entered Wang Pan's body. With the five-colored radiance inside his body, it effectively bound him, and furthermore, Lin Jing could monitor his every move at any time. After doing all this, Lin Jing addressed the people in the hall. "Lock him up, keep a close watch, and hand him over to Island Master Yin when he returns." After he finished speaking, Lin Jing looked at Qi Yao's corpse and said, "As for him, dispose of him directly." After finishing his words, Lin Jing left the council hall. The few people cupped their hands and said, "Yes, Island Master Lin." After leaving the hall, Lin Jing went straight to the valley mentioned by Qi Yao. However, after searching several times, he found nothing. Under the surveillance of Lin Jing's divine sense, it was impossible for Qi Yao to lie. Therefore, there was only one reason. There was also a hidden formation within this valley, which had concealed the treasure that could enhance cultivation. Facing the hidden formation, Lin Jing was utterly clueless. He could only wait for Lu Youjio and the others to return before discussing it further. As a fourth-rank array master, Hala Three Rivers should have some methods to uncover this hidden formation. At worst, they could find Zhang Jian and borrow his secret treasure formation plate, which should also be able to reveal the hidden formation. Afterward, Lin Jing flew back to his own hill. Several days later, on the hill where Lin Jing was located, Lin Jing and Yu Qi were having a conversation. "Qi, do you mean to say that these unnecessary branches and leaves must be pruned from this moon mulberry spirit fruit?" Yu Qi nodded her head and said, "Yes, Island Master Lin. While these branches and leaves seem lush, and there are also flowers within, it is actually quite difficult for them to bear fruit anymore. The reason being, the concentration of spiritual energy where we are is not very high. If we allow this moon mulberry spirit fruit to continue growing like this, it will only affect the growth of the other fruits. It might even delay the ripening cycle of the moon mulberry spirit fruit." As soon as Yu Qi finished speaking, Lin Jing continued to ask, "Then why don't wild spirit plants need pruning, yet they can grow well on their own?" Yu Qi patiently explained further. Whether it's the deep forests or the rare spiritual plants in various secret realms, in fact, they have already been selected by their environment. Those wild spirit plants out there must compete with other spiritual plants for the spiritual power that isn't very plentiful, and they evolve themselves to their optimal state. It's different for spirit plants that we cultivate ourselves because they have been removed from their previous environment, and these seedlings and seeds still grow in the same way as before. Naturally, there will be some maladjustment. A spirit fruit that originally might mature in 10 years might be delayed to 12 or 13 years. Another point is that the spirit fields we cultivate differ from the outside natural environment, and for this reason, our cultivated spirit plants need to be pruned and managed. Lin Jing nodded his head quickly and then said, "I see, so that's how it is." Yu Qi immediately followed up and said, "Yes. Actually, what we need to do is to grow the spirit plants we need under limited environmental conditions, and ensure that these spirit plants mature better and more quickly. Previously, my family had conducted research to reduce the harvest by 20% in exchange for having the maturation time of the spirit plants. Even though we harvest less in doing so, the shorter maturation period allows us to plant several more times, and overall, it's still worthwhile." Lin Jing pondered and nodded his head. Then, Yu Qi took out several jade slips and books from her storage bag and placed them in front of Lin Jing, saying, "Island Master Lin, I see you're quite interested in planting spirit plants." After saying that, she pointed to the jade slips and books and said, "These are the experiences gained by our family over countless years. You can take a look at them when you're free." Lin Jing nodded his head and then reached out to take the jade slips and books, storing them away. Following that, Lin Jing turned to Yu Qi and asked, "Qi, how do you feel after taking the pure accumulation pill?" Yu Qi then respectfully said, "Thank you for your concern, Island Master Lin. After taking the pure accumulation pill, I feel like the elixir toxicity buildup in my body has been mostly cleansed." Lin Jing nodded and then reached into his storage bag again, taking out 2 pure jade boxes and handing them to Yu Qi. Yu Qi, seeing the pure jade boxes Lin Jing took out, didn't reach out to take them, but looked at Lin Jing in confusion. "Island Master Lin, this..." Lin Jing then said, "The pure accumulation pill can only clear about 80% of the body's elixir toxicity, but it can be used repeatedly up to a maximum of 3 pills a time. 3 pure accumulation pills can cleanse nearly all the elixir toxicity in the body. Take these 2 pure accumulation pills. During this time, do not take any other elixir medicines and try to expel as much of the elixir toxicity from your body as possible. After expelling the elixir toxicity, then start taking gathering yuan pills to enhance your cultivation. Otherwise, once you advance to golden core, taking the pure accumulation pill afterward will not be as effective as before." Island Master Lin. Yu Qi looked at the pure jade boxes in Lin Jing's hands, but hesitated. Lin Jing was about to comfort Yu Qi when, at that moment, the system's prompt sounded in his mind. Ding! System notification. System space upgrade completed. New features unlocked. Please enter the space for the host to check by himself. The system space had been upgraded at this time. Lin Jing was momentarily stunned, and then he placed the pure jade boxes into Yu Qi's hands. He said to Yu Qi, "All right, keep it for now. I'm going to practice cultivation for a while, and unless it's something urgent, try not to disturb me." Yu Qi's mother was utterly befuddled by Lin Jing's action. They had been having a good conversation, and now he was starting his cultivation practice all of a sudden. However, even though she was puzzled, Lin Jing had spoken. Yu Qi's mother put away the pure jade box, bowed to Lin Jing, and then took her leave. After Yu Qi's mother left, Lin Jing summoned the system and then said, "Enter the system space." As Lin Jing's voice fell, the scenery before his eyes changed in an instant, and the next moment, Lin Jing found himself in the system space. The first thing to do upon entering the system space was, of course, to sense the concentration of spiritual energy within. Now that it was a 5th-level system space, the concentration of spiritual energy had naturally risen another level. This spiritual power was much denser compared to the outside world. Immediately after, Lin Jing called out for the system panel. A panel instantly appeared in front of Lin Jing's eyes. System space, level 5. Remaining time, 278 hours. Accumulable, up to 500 hours. Host, Lin Jing. Spirit field range, 50 mu. Spiritual energy concentration, 5. Time, flow rate, 5. Daily entry time, 10 hours. System upgrade requirement, 10/50,000 harvest points. Special functions, alert, observe, time accumulation for seasons, environmental terrain, spirit plant repair, additional body attachment, spiritual plant acceleration growth. New feature, elixir medicine and spirit plant recycling. The host can hand over the elixir medicine or spirit plants they have refined to the system for recycling. The recycled elixir medicine and spirit plants will yield different amounts of harvest points as a reward, depending on the level and quantity provided by the host. Note, the host must refine the elixir medicine and grow the spirit plants within the system space to recycle them. Elixir medicine and spirit plants obtained from the outside world are not eligible for recycling. Elixir medicine and spirit plant recycling. Lin Jing murmured as he looked at the new feature. After pondering for a moment, Lin Jing realized the purpose of the elixir medicine and spirit plant recycling. In simple terms, it was another way to obtain harvest points. One had to admit, the timing for the appearance of this elixir medicine and spirit plant recycling feature couldn't have been better. He was in need of harvest points at the moment. Whether it was to upgrade the system or the alchemy room, or to accelerate the growth of spirit plants, using the additional body attachment function. The amount of harvest points he needed to spend was increasing, and yet the ways to earn them remained the same. He could still only obtain them through pure elixir medicine. Now, with this new recycling feature, any excess elixir medicines Lin Jing refined in the future could be directly recycled into harvest points. Thereby, he would no longer need to worry about refining pure elixir medicine. Previously, in order to refine pure elixir medicine, Lin Jing had hoarded quite a number of spirit plants needed to make second-rank elixir medicines, and he had refined quite a few second-rank elixir medicines. Apart from those pure elixir medicines, the others seemed superfluous. Take, for example, those medium-grade and superior elixir medicines. There were so many that even selling them was extremely troublesome. But now, any elixir medicine he refined in the future that was of no use could be directly recycled through this elixir medicine and spirit plant recycling system. However, only elixir medicines refined in the system space could be recycled. Those refined outside did not count. This also ruled out a possibility, which was that Lin Jing couldn't obtain harvest points by purchasing elixir medicines. But that was to be expected. Otherwise, Lin Kai could simply earn spirit stones and buy low-grade elixir medicines. As for the spirit plants mentioned later, Lin Jing simply ignored them. The spirit plants planted in Lin Jing's system space were all needed by him. He would definitely plant all high-grade spirit plants later to refine the elixir medicines he needed. It never crossed his mind to exchange spirit plants for harvest points. With this new feature, the next step would be to run some tests. So, Lin Jing directly called out the system. System, use the elixir medicine and spirit plant recycling function. As Lin Jing's voice finished, a panel with a circular black hole appeared in front of his eyes. There was even a prompt above the circular black hole. Please host, place the elixir medicine or spirit plants you want to recycle into the recycling hole. Lin Jing then took out a small porcelain bottle from his storage bag. Inside was a bottle of Supreme Gathering Yuan pills. These were something he had refined a while ago in order to scrape together harvest points. Since he had an abundance of them and hadn't had the chance to deal with them, they had been kept until now. Now is the perfect time to test the new function. Next, Lin Jing opened the porcelain bottle, picked up a Supreme Gathering Yuan pill, and placed it into the recycling hole in the middle. As Lin Jing reached in with the elixir medicine in hand, the elixir medicine instantly vanished. Then came a series of system notifications. Ding! System notification. Congratulations to the host for successfully recycling a second-rank Supreme elixir medicine. Reward earned. 2 harvest points. A second-rank Supreme elixir can be recycled into 2 harvest points. That should be good enough. The test for the second-rank Supreme elixir is now complete. Next, Lin Jing has to test other elixir medicines. After that, Lin Jing took out a second-rank pure elixir and threw it into the recycling hole again. For this pure elixir, he received a reward of 10 harvest points, the same as the reward for crafting the pure elixir. After the Supreme elixir test was done, it was time for the other elixir medicines. Then, Lin Jing took out a bottle of first-rank superior elixir from his storage bag. However, when Lin Jing placed an elixir into the recycling hole, this time, the elixir was not recycled. Instead, a prompt appeared on the recycling panel. The recycling of this elixir does not amount to 1 harvest point. Please host input several elixirs at once to reach 1 harvest point before recycling. Or, please host replace the elixir to recycle. Lin Jing understood as soon as he saw the prompt on the panel. It seems that the harvest points from recycling first-rank elixirs are too few. So, Lin Jing took out another first-rank superior elixir and put it in. However, as soon as Lin Jing placed the elixir into that black hole, a system prompt came through. Ding! System prompt. Congratulations to the host for recycling a first-rank superior elixir. Reward. 1 harvest point. Afterward, Lin Jing used these elixirs to conduct several experiments. Finally, he determined the elixir's recycling ratio to be. The harvest points from recycling a pure elixir are equal to those from 5 supreme elixirs, 10 superior elixirs, 20 medium-grade elixirs, and 50 low-grade elixirs. That is a 1 to 5 to 10 to 20 to 50 recycling ratio. And the amount of harvest points obtained for each rank of elixir recycled is the same as the reward for crafting a pure elixir. Honestly, this ratio is actually quite good. With this elixir recycling feature, Lin Jing's speed in obtaining harvest points will more than double. After testing, Lin Jing then took out a space ring from his storage bag. This space ring was precisely the one previously owned by the Zhang family patriarch. However, since Lin Jing didn't want to be too conspicuous, he hadn't used it since assimilating it. After all, space rings are expensive, and only extraordinary people can afford to wear them. After taking out the space ring, Lin Jing proceeded to take out bottle after bottle of elixir from inside it. All of these were crafted by Lin Jing before. From Immortal Crossing Island, straight to now, there are quite a few elixirs remaining. Lin Jing had not found a chance to sell them. Now, with this elixir and spirit plant recycling feature, there's no need to risk selling these elixirs. It's better to exchange them directly for harvest points. So, Lin Jing then began to pick up those elixirs and started to recycle them. Ding! System prompt. Congratulations to the host for recycling a second-rank superior elixir. Reward: 10 harvest points. Ding! System prompt. Congratulations to the host for recycling a first-rank supreme elixir. Reward: 15 harvest points. Ding! System prompt. Congratulations to the host for recycling a first-rank pure elixir. Reward: 50 harvest points. A flood of system prompts came one after another, while Lin Jing kept putting elixirs into the recycling hole nonstop. In the end, aside from those second-rank pure and some supreme elixirs, Lin Jing recycled all of his elixirs. This time, he gained a total of 9,554 harvest points from recycling. With this, he almost earned enough harvest points to upgrade his system. Of course, the reason there were so many was that this was several years' accumulation for Lin Jing. And that was even after he had set aside the pure elixirs and some supreme elixirs. Pure elixirs are too valuable to be recycled, so naturally he couldn't do so. And those supreme elixirs also had other uses, so Lin Jing had kept some of them. After he finished recycling the elixirs, Lin Jing then went over to the spirit field. There was something he hadn't forgotten. Previously, he had snatched a segment of the eternal life vine that could increase lifespan from Xiaojin and Xiaohe. Lin Jing, who obtained the eternal life vine, initially wanted to plant it right away, but because the system space level wasn't high enough, it had been delayed. Now that the system space has been upgraded, it's time to plant the eternal life vine. Upon arriving at the spirit field, Lin Jing went straight to the previously expanded Immortal Crossing Island-like environment spirit field. He then took out the eternal life vine and planted it. However, as soon as the eternal life vine was planted, a system prompt ensued. Ding! System prompt. Congratulations to the host for planting the high-grade special spirit plant, the eternal life vine. As it's the host's first time planting the spirit plant, you are specially awarded 50 harvest points. Note: special spirit plants take a long time to grow. Through attentive care, the maturity time can be shortened. Lin Jing was momentarily stunned when he saw the system prompt below. He hadn't expected that the maturity time of special spirit plants could be shortened. Next, Lin Jing summoned the system and began to check the status of the just-planted Eternal Life Vine. Eternal Life Vine, 5th rank. Current environment: Immortal Crossing Island. Environment matched, normal growth, time to maturity, 10,000 years. Sure enough, the Eternal Life Vine's growth time needs 10,000 years. Such a long growth time, even with the system, Lin Jing can't wait that long. Thankfully, such special spirit plants' growth can be accelerated through attentive care, shortening the maturity time. Speaking of meticulous care, Lin Jing instantly thought of the Shenglin revival wood technique he had obtained from Yuqi's mother. Perhaps this Shenglin revival wood technique might be effective on the Eternal Life Vine. However, since Lin Jing had not been in contact with the Shenglin revival wood technique for long, he needed to practice it more. Therefore, he gave up the idea of experimenting this time. If he didn't handle the Eternal Life Vine well and damaged it, he would have nowhere to cry. Even if one wanted to use the Lin revival wood technique to tend to spirit plants, one should start with those low-grade spirit plants. Once proficient, it could then be used on high-grade spiritual plants. Next, Lin Jing left the spirit field and proceeded to the alchemy room to start his great alchemy endeavor. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 days had passed. Today, as soon as Lin Jing finished making elixirs and came out of the system space, he heard some noises outside the house. Then, Lin Jing opened the door and walked out. He saw Yin Wanfei, who was walking toward the alchemy room. "Brother Yin, you're back," Lin Jing said with a smile to Yin Wanfei. However, Yin Wanfei spoke directly. "I already know about Wang Pan's matter. I've thrown him into the sea to feed the demonic beasts. Brother Lin, you really didn't need to wait for me previously. Wang Pan deserved to die for what he did. You could have just dealt with him directly. There is absolutely no need to wait for my return." Lin Jing then said with a smile, "As long as you've dealt with it, that's fine. All right, let's not talk about Wang Pan anymore." "Lin, brother, what you did this time was impressive," Yin Wanfei said excitedly. "I've heard them say that you incapacitated 2 men on your own, and even a mid-stage golden core couldn't escape. You usually keep such a low profile, but when it matters, you really surprise people. You don't know, but when I just got back and heard that you had killed 3 from Yuxing Island, I was shocked. Now, it's not just me. Many on the island hold you in high regard. Of course, I'm not the one who's saying this. I just overheard it." Facing Yin Wanfei's praise, Lin Jing just smiled and then changed the subject. Following that, Lin Jing said to Yin Wanfei, "How was your haul this time from going out?" At the mention of this outing, Yin Wanfei became excited again and said, "Haha, mission accomplished. This time, we even made a special trip to Spirit Rock Island to get the 1,000 Spirit Divine Leaf. And also, sisters Yin Xing and Yin, you have already been sent back to their father." Lin Jing's face lit up with joy, and he said, "Having obtained the 1,000 Spirit Divine Leaf, that's truly great. Now, we can prepare to make the Nirvana Elixir." "Yes," Yin Wanfei nodded and said. After speaking, Yin Wanfei suddenly spoke up again. "Brother Lin, right? We still need to make a trip to Li Yin City. Lu Yojiao and San here waiting for us in Li Yin City." Lin Jing nodded and said, "Okay." After speaking, Lin Jing left with Yin Wanfei, heading down from the hill. On their way to Li Yin City, and in the backyard of the city lord's mansion, Lin Jing saw Lu Yojiao and Hala 3 Rivers. At that moment, Hala 3 Rivers was lying in front of a formation, his eyebrows tightly furrowed, staring at the formation that Wang Pan had destroyed. Lu Yojiao also stood by, watching Hala 3 Rivers closely. Seeing Lin Jing's arrival, Lu Yojiao turned his head, smiling at Lin Jing. "You're here." And at this time, Hala 3 Rivers also stood up. Lin Jing responded, then turned to Hala 3 Rivers and asked, "Brother Sanhe, can this formation be repaired?" Hala 3 Rivers nodded slightly and said, "No problem. The formation was initially set up haphazardly just for research purposes. If it's destroyed, we can simply lay out a new one. It's not a big deal." Lin Jing nodded and then asked the others, "As for what happened, has anyone told you the full story yet?" Lu Yojiao then spoke. "As soon as we came back, we heard that the island had been attacked, but it was you who turned the tide and dealt with all the attackers. As for the rest, we're not too clear on that." Lin Jing continued, "Since that's the case, let me tell you all about the whole incident. The whole event actually went like this." Lin Jing then began to recount the entire event, from the initial attack, and all the details confided by Qi Yao. Lin Jing recounted everything in one breath. In the end, when it came to the mysterious treasure, Yin Wanfei suddenly widened his eyes, then said, "Does Li Yin Island really have such a precious treasure?" Lin Jing then shook his head and said, "I once went to explore that valley, but found nothing. I suspect that there might indeed be something hidden within that valley by a concealing formation. Of course, that's just my speculation." After Lin Jing finished speaking, Lu Yojiao and the others were silent for a moment. Then Yin Wanfei directly spoke up, saying, Why don't we just go and have a look? With Sanhe around, even if there is a hidden formation, it won't escape Sanhe's magical eye. After finishing, he turned his head and said to Hala Three Rivers, "Isn't that right, Sanhe?" Hala Three Rivers hesitated for a moment before saying, "Earlier, I briefly surveyed the entire island and didn't find anything unusual. So, I cannot guarantee if we can find that hidden treasure, but it's worth a look anyway." Lu Yojio also nodded in agreement. So, the three of them decided to explore the valley. An hour later, Lin Jing and the others arrived above the valley on their flying swords. "It's the valley below." Lin Jing pointed to a lush, forested valley below and spoke. In the valley, besides the lush flowers, grass, and trees, there were the surrounding rocky cliffs. Of course, there was also a small pond in the middle of the valley. Lin Jing had once been down to this pond. It was not deep, nor had anything unusual, just an ordinary pond formed from long-time rainfall accumulation. One could easily take in the entire valley at a glance. Lin Jing and his friends, riding their flying swords, first circled around the valley before landing on a mountaintop on one side of it, where they looked down to observe the whole valley. After observing for a while, Yin Wanfei was the first to speak. "This looks like an ordinary valley, nothing special at all." After Yin Wanfei's words fell, Lu Yojio looked at Hala Three Rivers and asked, "Sanhe, what do you think? Have you noticed anything?" At this moment, Hala Three Rivers furrowed his brows, still carefully observing the entire valley. Only after a moment did he raise his head and say to the group, "You guys wait here for a moment. I'll go down alone and take a closer look." Having said this, without waiting for a response, Hala Three Rivers was already leading the way off the mountaintop and flying down into the valley. As for Lin Jing and the others, they continued to stand atop the mountain, looking down. After Hala Three Rivers descended, he first took out a magical treasure that resembled an array plate, then activated it, and instantly a yellow light shone from that array plate. Holding the array plate-like magical treasure, he began searching within the valley, seemingly looking for the hidden formation, until an hour had passed and Yin Wanfei was already scratching his head impatiently. Hala Three Rivers finally finished his survey and flew back. Upon his return, Yin Wanfei immediately asked impatiently, "Sanhe, how did it go? Is there really something here that can enhance cultivation?" Hala Three Rivers shook his head and said, "It's still unclear." Then, he looked at the group and added, "This valley does have some anomalies. It's very likely that there is a high-level concealment formation present, and now, I need your help to locate this formation." Yin Wanfei said, "Help? Of course, that's no problem at all, but what exactly do you need us to do?" Lin Jing and Lu Yojio nodded to each other and said, "No problem." Afterward, Hala Three Rivers took out 4 formation flags from his storage bag, giving one to each person. Then he said, "Place these formation flags where I tell you to, and then just wait. After I have made all the preparations, I'll notify you. Then you just need to channel your spiritual power into the formation flags." The group nodded upon hearing this. Following that, Hala Three Rivers began to assign positions. The positions were straightforward, just around several mountaintops surrounding the valley. They each took a position on one of them. Then they just had to place the formation flags at the highest points of these mountaintops. Once all the flags were in place, Hala Three Rivers became busy again. He flew directly on his flying sword into the air above the valley, and then gathered his spiritual power to trace out a large formation above the valley. After completing all these tasks, Hala Three Rivers flew back to the mountaintop where he was stationed, and then told the group, "Okay, begin now." As soon as Hala Three Rivers spoke, the others began channeling their spiritual power into the formation flags. With the input of spiritual power, the formation flags began to emit white light, which grew brighter as they continued to channel their power. Eventually, the light spread along the formation that Hala Three Rivers had traced out. Within moments, the entire formation was activated and brightly lit up. Seeing the formation activated, Hala Three Rivers called out to them, "Okay, you can stop now." The group then ceased their efforts. Following this, Hala 3 Rivers flew towards the middle of the valley. He then moved his lips slightly, muttering an unknown incantation. Next, he touched his hands, glowing brightly, to his eyes, and suddenly his eyes emitted a golden light. Then, in this manner, he looked down at the valley below. Soon, Hala 3 Rivers seemed to have discovered something, and then he rushed toward one side to take cover. The others, upon seeing this, also quickly looked over. Where Hala 3 Rivers had rushed to was a crevice in the rock. Lin Jing turned his head to look, but did not notice anything unusual. Hala 3 Rivers observed the crevice for a while, and then with a gesture, several formation flags flew back to him, and the large formation also disappeared. Then, he turned his head and said to the others, "I've found it. Come over here." Having said this, the others also flew over. The first to arrive, naturally, was the eagerly awaiting Yin Wanfei. As soon as Yin Wanfei arrived, he began to ask, "Senhe, is there really a hidden formation? What's inside? Is it a treasure?" It seemed that Yin Wanfei's obsession with treasures was quite deep. However, Hala 3 Rivers shook his head and said, "It's still unclear. We'll only know once we go inside." After speaking, Hala 3 Rivers scattered several formation flags near the crevice again. With a wave of his hand, another formation came into being. As this formation formed, the crevice, which had initially appeared ordinary, suddenly changed. The crevice, previously blocked by rocks, now revealed an opening, and from this opening, faint red light was emanating. By this time, Lin Jing and Lu Yojio had just arrived. As soon as the two arrived, they felt a wave of heat emitting from the opening. The inside of this opening was hot. It was still unknown what treasure lay inside. Seeing that Lu Yojio and Lin Jing had also arrived, Yin Wanfei then said, "Since everyone is here, let's go in now. I've been impatient for a while to see what treasure is inside." Lin Jing then spoke, "I think we should still prepare a bit. It will be bad if there's any danger." Lu Yojio and Hala 3 Rivers nodded in agreement with Lin Jing's view. "Yes." Yin Wanfei scratched his head and said. Thus, after a discussion and some preparations, they began to explore the cave. The cave was not very large. They could only advance side by side. Lu Yojio, walking at the forefront, was cautiously alert, simultaneously extending his divine sense to observe inside the cave. Lin Jing did the same, extending his divine sense deep into the cave. The cave was quite deep, and momentarily, even Lin Jing's divine sense could not reach the end. Moreover, upon probing, Lin Jing discovered that this cave seemed to continuously descend. Who knows how long it had been? As they walked deeper, the inside of the cave became hotter. On the cave stone walls, dark red rocks started to appear. These dark red rocks, known as fire rocks, were artifact refining materials that appeared only in high-temperature underground. However, these materials were not difficult to find nor very high-grade, only usable for refining low-rank magical instruments. The fire attribute spiritual power here is so high. Yin Wanfei spoke at this time. Indeed, compared to the outside world, the spiritual power inside the cave was imbalanced, with fire attribute spiritual power taking up a large portion. Because Lin Jing practiced the immortal 5 elements technique, he felt a deeper balance among the different attributes of spiritual power. So, he had sensed it early on. Lu Yojio, walking at the front, then spoke. "I suspect that there might be an earth flame spring inside." Earth flame spring, hot springs formed from underground thermal vents, are extremely hot, unlike regular springs. Because the earth flame spring emits springs filled with fire attribute essence. Moreover, due to its extremely high temperature, not only do cultivators who practice fire attribute cultivation techniques love it, but artifact refiners are also fond of the earth flame spring. In addition, due to its extreme heat, it also helps body refinement cultivators to temper their bodies and advance in levels. And the fire attribute essence, that could be considered the ancestor of fire attribute spiritual power, greatly helping those who cultivate fire attribute cultivation techniques. Of course, if the cultivation level is too low, then forget it, because it's very likely that the overwhelming fire attribute essence could cause one to burst and die. Hala Three Rivers also nodded and said, "Indeed, as we have walked till now, the whole cave has become hotter. It's very likely to be an earth flame spring." Afterward, they continued forward. This time, after another long hour, they finally reached the interior of the cave. At this point, they finally came into a large, spacious cavern. This cavern, constantly infused by the earth flame spring over the years, had its rocky walls all turned fiery red. And these fiery red rocks were a level higher than fire rocks as artifact refining materials, fire rock crystals. In the center of the cave was the earth flame spring, filled with a fiery red color and emitting billowing heat. It really is an earth flame spring. Yin Wanfei, looking at the continuously steaming earth flame spring in front of him, said excitedly. The temperature in this cave was actually extremely high. Apart from Lin Jing and Yin Wanfei, who could withstand it due to their body refining, Lu Yojiao and Hala Three Rivers had already condensed a protective layer on the surface of their bodies, wrapping themselves up. Yin Wanfei, looking at Lu Yojiao, excitedly asked, "Brother Jiao, didn't you say that this earth flame spring can help with body refining? Then, doesn't that mean I can cultivate here in the future?" Lu Yojiao nodded and said, "That's right. However, if you want to refine your body, you have to jump into this earth flame spring. The deeper you go, the hotter it becomes. As long as you reach a point that you can bear, you can cultivate there for a while and enhance your physique. I should warn you in advance. This body refining process is not easy." After listening, Yin Wanfei hurriedly spoke up. "No problem, it's just a bit of pain, right? Old Neo here has thick skin and flesh. I'm not afraid of pain." Lu Yojiao nodded and then added, "All right, as long as you're not afraid of pain." At this moment, Hala Three Rivers looked at the earth flame spring and chimed in. This earth flame spring is not only for refining the body, but it's also an excellent place for artifact refining. At that point, Yin Wanfei suddenly said, "Speaking of artifact refining, it reminds me. Brother Lin, I've seen your flying sword. It's still just a top-notch magic artifact. It might be time for a change." As soon as Yin Wanfei finished speaking, Lu Yojiao also looked towards Lin Jing and said, "Brother Lin, haven't you always wanted a handy magical treasure flying sword? What if I give you a flying sword?" However, Lin Jing shook his head. Then he began to explain, "You've all seen my flawless sword. It's completely transparent, formless, and shadowless. I practice a special sword cultivation technique, which works best with formless and shadowless swords, or else the power of the technique will be greatly diminished. So, I want to find some transparent artifact refining materials to upgrade my flawless sword into a magical treasure. I haven't switched it yet, because I haven't found suitable materials." After listening, Lu Yojiao's eyes narrowed slightly as he pondered for a while before speaking. "Now that you mention it, it reminds me of someone." "Who, Brother Jiao?" Yin Wanfei asked, his face full of curiosity. Hala Three Rivers also looked puzzled as he glanced at Lu Yojiao. Obviously, he was also unaware of whom Lu Yojiao was referring to. Lu Yojiao then said, "Previously, in the Thousand Islands domain, there was a nascent soul, true monarch who wielded a powerful sword cultivation technique demanding the use of a formless and shadowless sword. That nascent soul, true monarch's name." Lu Yojiao paused, looking up as he thought for a moment before continuing. "I've forgotten his name, but he was known as Ling, true monarch, and the sword technique he cultivated is called Ling Yujianju." Then, Lu Yojiao turned to Lin Jing and asked, "The technique you're cultivating, it wouldn't happen to be the Ling Yujianju, would it?" Lin Jing nodded and responded, "I don't mean to conceal it from you, Brother Lu, but the technique I am practicing is indeed the Ling sword technique. I happened to come across it at an auction a long time ago, and quite recently, while I was pursuing the master of Yuxing Island, I found the remains of Ling true monarch and obtained the latter part of the Ling Yujianju. That's why I've decided to upgrade my flawless sword into a magical treasure to continue using it in conjunction with the Ling Yujianju." After hearing this, Lu Yojiao nodded. That does sound like a good plan. By the way, have you collected any materials yet? If not, I can help you. Speaking of materials, Lin Jing suddenly remembered the nameless transparent material, which clearly was collected by Ling Yin True Monarch himself. Since he did not recognize the material, perhaps he could show it to the others. They might know what it is. So Lin Jing said, "There actually is one material, but I don't know what it is. You guys could take a look." With that, Lin Jing took out the transparent artifact refining material of unknown nature from his storage bag. Lin Jing handed the material to Lu Yojio. Lu Yojio took the material and inspected it carefully. Hala Three Rivers and Yin Wanfei also came over to have a look. The three of them observed it closely for a good while, but they could not provide an answer. After a moment, Lu Yojio asked Lin Jing, "Have you tried using this material yet?" Lin Jing shook his head and said, "After I got this material, I just put it away and have not tried using it." Lu Yojio nodded and then offered, "Let me give it a try then." Having said that, Lu Yojio began to test it. After some time of testing, Lu Yojio returned the material to Lin Jing and said, "This material is highly compatible with the Lingyin you Jianju you're cultivating, but the grade of this material is not low. I suggest you not use it right now. If this material is refined and integrated into the magical treasure, there's a good chance it will directly upgrade the treasure to a Dao artifact." Magical treasures. Yin Wanfei clicked his tongue, having looked for quite a while without being able to discern the quality of the material. Unexpectedly, this inconspicuous transparent stone turned out to be material for crafting magical treasures. Lu Yojio nodded and said, "That's right. It is very likely a material for crafting magical treasures, but I have never seen it before, so I cannot guarantee it." Having said that, Lu Yojio continued to ask Lin Jing, "Besides these, do you have any other materials?" Other materials? After thinking for a moment, Lin Jing then took out an invisible, shadowless broken sword from his storage bag. He then handed it to Lu Yojio. This broken sword should be a magical treasure of true monarch Ling Yin. Lu Yojio took the broken sword and observed it carefully before saying, "Invisible and shadowless, it's indeed a top-grade magical treasure flying sword. It appears to be the one. I have heard some tales of true monarch Ling Yin before. It is said he was talented and even created his own Ling Yin Yu Jianju. But then he disappeared without a reason. Some say he has fallen. Others believe he went to other domains. Where did you find his remains?" Lin Jing replied, "It was in the south of the Thousand Islands domain, on an uninhabited island. If it weren't for the pursuit of the island master of Yuxing Island, I wouldn't have discovered it." Lu Yojio nodded, holding the magical treasure flying sword of true monarch Ling Yin in his hand, and said to Lin Jing, "This flying sword has been severely damaged and is beyond repair. However, the materials used to forge this flying sword are quite extraordinary. I think you could melt down this flying sword and merge it into your flawless sword, fusing the two into one. This way, you could enhance the quality of your flawless sword, at the very least raising it to the quality of a medium-grade magical treasure." After Lu Yojio finished speaking, Hala Three Rivers immediately added, "However, to enhance this flying sword, there is one more thing needed. You'll have to find an artifact refiner." Lu Yojio nodded, and then along with Hala Three Rivers, turned to look at Yin Wanfei. Yin Wanfei suddenly stepped back 2 paces, waving his hands and saying, "No, why are you looking at me? I don't want to deal with that woman. If you love to go, you go find her, just don't expose me." Lin Jing was quite puzzled by their actions, so he quickly asked, "That woman? Who is she?" With a slight smile, Lu Yojio said, "Zhang Doduo, Niosan's fiancée, and she happens to be an artifact refiner. If she helps out, then your magical treasure upgrade should be set." Still a bit confused, Lin Jing continued to ask, "This should be good news, shouldn't it? Why does brother Yin seem so afraid of his fiancée?" Cough. I know a bit about this. So he cleared his throat and explained, "One of the reasons Niosan always follows us is to avoid his fiancée. Also, his practice of body refining techniques is..." "What?" Lin Jing found it incomprehensible. he became curious about Yin Wanfei's fiancé. It was really hard to understand what kind of fiancé could scare Yin Wanfei into hiding. At that moment, Yin Wanfei spoke up, pleading with Lu Yojiao and Hala Three Rivers. "Brothers, please don't say any more. Otherwise, all my secrets will be exposed." Lu Yojiao then said, "We don't have to talk about it, but Lin's magical treasure." Lu Yojiao stopped there, turning to look at Yin Wanfei. Yin Wanfei gritted his teeth and then said, "Fine, I'll take the plunge." Afterwards, he addressed Lin Jing. "Brother Lin, once we are out of here, hand your flying sword and that broken one to me. I'll find you an artifact refiner and guarantee a perfectly restored magical treasure flying sword for you." Hearing Yin Wanfei's confident statement, Lin Jing quickly looked at Lu Yojiao and Hala Three Rivers for their confirmation. Seeing the two nodded, Lu Yojiao then said, "Rest assured, it's fairly easy for Niu San to get an artifact refiner. Leave it to him. By the way, give him that material suspected to be for a magical treasure as well, and let him inquire what exactly it is. If it can be incorporated, that would be even better." Lin Jing nodded and then said to Yin Wanfei, "Brother Yin, I'll leave it in your hands." Yin Wanfei gave Lu Yojiao and Hala Three Rivers a grievous glance, and then told Lin Jing, "Rest assured, leave it to me." Just like that, they resolved the matter of Lin Jing's magical treasure in a few exchanges. Following that, the four of them arrived beside the fiery spring, all gazing at it together. Even before getting close, Lin Jing could feel the scorching heat wafting up. Even with Lin Jing's current physique, he could feel the searing heat within. Not just Lin Jing, but even Lu Yojiao and Hala Three Rivers thickened the spiritual power shields around themselves. At that moment, Lu Yojiao turned his head to look at Yin Wanfei, whose face was flushed from the heat, and said, "Niu San, why don't you test it out by jumping in first? Shouldn't be a problem if I go down, right?" "Brother Jiao," Yin Wanfei looked down at the boiling earth flame spring and couldn't help but feel a bit doubtful. Lu Yojiao said, straightforwardly, "No problem. Didn't I tell you before? It will just hurt a bit, and you won't be able to endure it for too long. Also, as long as you don't dive too deep, it won't harm you. Instead, it will help you practice the body refining techniques." After hearing what Lu Yojiao said, Yin Wanfei hesitated for a moment, then nodded and stepped forward. Then, Yin Wanfei turned to Lu Yojiao and said, "Brother Jiao, I'm going down now." Lu Yojiao didn't speak, just smiled and nodded his head. Immediately after, Yin Wanfei turned his head and stepped into the earth flame spring. However, just at that moment, Lu Yojiao pulled Lin Jing and San he back a few steps. Then, splash, Yin Wanfei fell into the earth flame spring. Immediately after, with a cry of "Ow!" Yin Wanfei, who had just jumped into the earth flame spring, shot right back out and splashed a large amount of the spring's liquid. Seeing this, without waiting for Lu Yojiao's reminder, Lin Jing and San he retreated further back. They avoided the splashed earth flame spring liquid. "Damn, that hurt like hell. Brother Jiao, what's going on? You set me up." However, Lu Yojiao remained very calm and said to Yin Wanfei, "Nope. Didn't I tell you earlier that entering the earth flame spring for body refinement would be painful?" Yin Wanfei rolled up his sleeves and extended his arm for everyone to see. Yin Wanfei's arm looked like it had been steamed, completely red as if it were a glowing hot iron, and it was still emitting steam. Seeing this, Lin Jing's eyes widened in shock, unable to stop himself from gasping in the cold air, startled by how quickly Yin Wanfei had been affected. Was the earth flame spring really that terrifying? Initially, Lin Jing thought about trying it himself later, but this sight frightened the idea right out of him. Yin Wanfei, holding up his arm and giving Lu Yojiao a resentful look, said, "Is this what you meant by a bit painful? I feel like my whole body's about to be cooked." Lu Yojiao nodded and replied, "Generally speaking, it's indeed not very painful." After he finished speaking, Lu Yojiao then questioned, "When you went down just now, you didn't use any spiritual power to resist, did you?" Yin Wanfei froze, then confusedly asked Lu Yojiao, "Isn't the point of practicing body refining techniques to let the earth flame spring liquid seep into the body? Why would I need to use spiritual power to resist when going down? Of course, Lu Yojio said. This earth flame spring surges up from the extreme flame zones deep within the earth's core. Its temperature is extraordinarily high, naturally. Besides, how long have you been practicing your body refining techniques? Thinking you could resist the earth flame spring liquid with just your physical body is naive. You still don't understand enough about the earth flame spring. When you go down, of course, you need to use spiritual power to resist until you gradually adapt. Then you can start to let the spring's liquid seep into your body. I see, Yin Wanfei said sheepishly. After he spoke, he immediately sensed something was wrong, then added, "Wait, Brother Jiao, why didn't you remind me just now?" Lu Yojio gave him a look and said, "Just now, I saw you were full of confidence. I thought you knew. Besides, this was a good lesson for you. Don't jump in blindly without understanding things." Yin Wanfei was chastised by Lu Yojio, suddenly feeling very embarrassed. Soon after, Yin Wanfei tried a second time. This second time, having been prepared beforehand, Yin Wanfei seemed much more at ease. He even immersed his body in the pool as if soaking in a hot spring. Seeing Yin Wanfei like this, Lin Jing also felt tempted. So, after notifying the others, he also came to the edge of the earth flame spring, ready to try it out himself. Seeing Lin Jing preparing to enter, Yin Wanfei hurriedly called out to him, "Brother Lin, come on. But be careful. Remember to use your full strength to run your spiritual power. This place not only refines the body, but also is particularly abundant in spiritual power." Then, without being overconfident, Lin Jing activated his spiritual power and slowly entered the earth flame spring. As soon as he entered, countless fiery essences mixed with fire attribute essence tried to penetrate his body. But these were blocked by the spiritual power, only continuously roiling on the surface of his body. At this moment, Lin Jing finally understood why Yin Wanfei had immediately jumped out upon entering. It must have been these fire attribute essences invading his body, which is why it felt as if he had been scalded. After all, this fire attribute essence is much more violent than fire attribute spiritual power, and even cultivators who practice fire attribute techniques dare not absorb it recklessly. He dared only to refine it little by little. By now, Yin Wanfei, having mastered the method, became very comfortable and quickly said to Lu Yojio and Hala Three Rivers, "Brother Jiao, San, you two should come down too. It's really awesome down here." Lu Yojio replied, "I'll stay up here. I don't have a fire attribute spirit root, and going into this earth flame spring would only harm me." "The same goes for me," Hala Three Rivers added after Lu Yojio finished. Indeed, the earth flame spring contained elements more volatile than fire attribute spiritual power, making it a great supplement for cultivators practicing fire attribute techniques. But for those cultivators without a fire attribute spirit root, it was like a potent poison. Now, the reason for Dai Mao's progress in cultivation every time he entered this valley became clear. It was because Dai Mao had a fire attribute spirit root, and so could make rapid progress by practicing within the earth flame spring. After listening to their explanations, Yin Wanfei said no more and simply indulged in the earth flame spring. Lin Jing, although capable of practicing in the earth flame spring, dared not let himself absorb too much fire attribute essence. Because Lin Jing's practice of the immortal 5 elements technique and the 5 elements divine art required a balance of all 5 elements in order to unleash their true effects and power. If this balance were disturbed, not only would his cultivation slow down for a while, but the power of his 5 elements divine art would also be affected. However, using the liquid from the earth flame spring to refine his physique was still an excellent choice. And that was exactly what Lin Jing was doing now. Lin Jing was seen slowly retracting his spiritual power, allowing his body to immerse into the liquid of the earth flame spring. Instantly, Lin Jing's body turned red as if boiling. An immense pain emerged from the flesh throughout his body. Lin Jing clenched his teeth and silently endured these agonies. Just then, Yin Wanfei noticed Lin Jing's unusual state, quickly moved closer, and asked, "Brother Lin, have you withdrawn the spiritual power protecting your body?" Lin Jing, clenching his teeth, gasped out a word. "Yes." "Why would you?" Yin Wanfei was puzzled. However, at that moment, Lu Yojiu on the shore answered for Lin Jing. "Because Brother Lin's body refinement cultivation is higher than yours. Without doing so, he simply can't progress. And you too, if you're going to use the Earth Flame Spring for body refinement, you can't always protect yourself with spiritual power." "I see." Yin Wanfei frowned immediately. He had personally experienced that kind of pain before, and the thought of trying it again made even now Yin Wanfei's heart flutter. Lu Yojiu continued, "But you don't have to do this now. When your body becomes stronger, the pain will naturally lessen. For now, just protect your body with spiritual power and cultivate slowly. When you feel that your cultivation can't progress anymore, gradually reduce the spiritual power protection until you no longer need it. By then, your body refining techniques will also be near perfect." Lu Yojiu's words brought a smile to Yin Wanfei's face, who quickly said to Lu Yojiu, "Thank Brother Jiu, I understand now." This time, the few people, during their first visit, did not soak for long. In less than half an hour, 2 of them were ready to come out. Bathing in the Earth Flame Spring for this short, while showed signs of further advancement in Lin Jing's long-stagnant 7 refinement body forging technique. It seemed that to perfect the 7 refinement body forging technique, regular visits to this Earth Flame Spring were imperative. After coming up from the Earth Flame Spring, Yin Wanfei asked Lu Yojiu, pointing at the spring, "Brother Jiu, do you know where exactly this spring leads to beneath the surface?" Lu Yojiu replied, "This Earth Flame Spring should lead directly to the Earth's core if nothing goes astray. However, the interior of this flame is not something cultivators of our level can interact with, so you'd better be realistic. Or you could come back after reaching the divinity transformation stage." "Does it really require reaching the divinity transformation stage to go down there?" Yin Wanfei was surprised. Lu Yojiu continued, "Of course. The deeper you go into the Earth Flame Spring, the closer you get to the Earth's flame core, where the temperatures are frighteningly extreme. If one's strength is insufficient, it's likely they wouldn't even reach the flame core before being scalded to death by this Earth Flame Spring." "Forget it," Yin Wanfei swiftly shook his head. "I'd better just cultivate here. I'd rather not think about the deep Earth Flame core." Afterward, the group left the cave. Coming out of the cave and standing in front of that crevice, Yin Wanfei spoke. "What should we do with this Earth Flame Spring? Should we keep hiding it?" After pondering for a moment, Hala, 3 Rivers answered, "Yes. This Earth Flame Spring is the ideal place for cultivating fire attribute techniques. If leaked carelessly, it might bring numerous troubles. And currently, we still have to face the heavenly desire demon monarch. We don't have time to tangle with those people, so we must keep it hidden." Lu Yojiu nodded and followed Hala, 3 Rivers' words. "Sen he is right. This time we indeed do not have much time to get entangled with others. We must hide this entrance." Hala, 3 Rivers then spoke. "In that case, don't worry about this place for now. In the next few days, I will isolate this area with an array formation. Once everything is in place, I will notify you." "All right." The group nodded in agreement. After that, they left the valley together. On their way, Lu Yojiu handed the 1,000 Spirits Divine Leaf and the pill recipe for the Nirvana Elixir to Lin Jing, saying, "Brother Lin, it's up to you now." Compared to a 4th order spirit plant, this pill recipe was not difficult to gather, as they had received it directly through 7 Seas Hall while they were in Beihai City. Lin Jing nodded. "Right, Brother Lin. Hand over your magic artifact and materials to me later when we return. I will go out for a few days to find you an artifact refiner." "Thank you, Brother Yin," said Lin Jing. "What's there to thank?" Yin Wanfei didn't take it to heart. After the group returned, Lu Yojiu took care of some matters before he began his closed-door cultivation. Lin Jing also returned to the alchemy room he had been using before. Yin Wanfei and Hala 3 Rivers also had their own matters to attend to. And so, after a brief gathering, the group separated once again, each busy with their own tasks. Half a month later, Lin Jing had just refined a batch of second-rank elixir medicine. In this batch, he had produced yet another flawless elixir. The harvest points Lin Jing had obtained had once again exceeded 10,000, and the alchemy room could now be upgraded again. Without hesitation, Lin Jing used up the 10,000 harvest points to start upgrading the alchemy room. He aimed to refine the 4th order Nirvana elixir. The higher the level of the alchemy room in the system space, the better, of course. After starting the upgrade of the alchemy room, Lin Jing left the system space again. As the alchemy room was in the process of upgrading, it naturally could not be used for alchemy. However, Lin Jing was not idle. Next, he had to study the pill recipe for the Nirvana elixir. This pill recipe was also extremely important. He needed to thoroughly understand it. However, just as Lin Jing was studying the pill recipe, Hala 3 Rivers came to see him and informed Lin Jing that the cave in the valley had been hidden again. Furthermore, Hala 3 Rivers handed Lin Jing a token. With this token, he could enter the earth flame spring anytime to practice his body refining techniques. After Lin Jing accepted the token, Hala 3 Rivers left. After all, Hala 3 Rivers was quite busy lately too. He also wanted to find a way to break through to become a 5th order array master in this period. He was not any less busy than Lin Jing and the others. Meanwhile, Yin Wanfei had run off to help Lin Jing upgrade his magical treasure and had not yet returned. The upgrade of the alchemy room was faster than Lin Jing had anticipated. In just 2 days, the system alchemy room had been upgraded successfully. At that moment, Lin Jing was still engrossed in the pill recipe for the Nirvana elixir, his brow furrowed in concentration. But he was startled by the sudden system notification. Ding! System notification. Alchemy room upgrade successful. Please enter the system space to check. With the successful upgrade of the alchemy room, Lin Jing could now enter the alchemy room and start alchemy. Therefore, Lin Jing immediately put away the pill recipe and once again entered the system space. Upon arriving in the system space, Lin Jing headed straight for the alchemy room. When Lin Jing entered the alchemy room, he felt that his divine sense was stronger than before, but noticed no other changes. The size of the alchemy room appeared to be the same as before. Then, Lin Jing summoned the system and spoke. System, open the alchemy room panel. As Lin Jing's words fell, the alchemy room panel appeared before him. Alchemy room, level 5. Divine sense strength increase, 50%. Alchemy success rate increase. First rank 50%. Max, second rank 40%. Third rank 30%. Fourth rank 20%. Fifth rank 10%. Elixir quality enhancement. First rank 50%. Max, second rank 40%. Third rank 30%. Fourth rank 20%. Fifth rank 10%. Chance of producing flawless elixir. First rank 50%. Max, second rank 40%. Third rank 30%. Fourth rank 20%. Fifth rank 10%. Upgrade requirement. 4/50,000 harvest points. Max. Lin Jing saw the word behind the first order elixir and read it aloud. If it's maxed out, that means it won't increase any further. In other words, whether it's the alchemy success rate, the enhancement of elixir quality, or the chance of producing flawless elixir, the highest is 50% and it's maxed out. It was not surprising to Lin Jing that there was a maximum limit. A 50% chance was actually quite good. Next, Lin Jing closed the alchemy room panel and prepared to start refining a batch of elixirs to experiment a bit. Time flies by, always slipping away when you least expect it. In the blink of an eye, a year and a half had passed since the last event. During this time, everyone had been busily engaged. Lu Yojiu practiced his cultivation daily, often secluding himself for months at a time. Meanwhile, Hala 3 Rivers was immersed in studying formations. However, just some time ago, Hala 3 Rivers finally made a breakthrough and became a 5th order array master. As of now, among the group, it was Yin Wanfei who was relatively more idle. Even so, besides his ongoing body refinement, Yin Wanfei was also responsible for handling various trifling matters for the group. Actually, not long after Lin Jing had entered seclusion, another person came looking for them. That person was Zhang Jian, who couldn't get Yin Shui out of his mind. When Zhang Jian came, he happened to encounter Yin Wanfei. Thus, a strange relationship developed between the two. Initially, their relationship was definitely not harmonious, especially when Zhang Jian found out that the Yin Shui he had been obsessing over was actually the burly man Yin Wanfei. He simply couldn't handle it and deflated completely. Later on, it was Lin Jing who went out and explained the truth to Zhang Jian, which helped him understand the reality. After that, Lin Jing entered seclusion again to refine pills, and he stopped concerning himself with the duo's tangled web of love and hate. In the meantime, nobody knew what happened between them, but Zhang Jian and Yin Wanfei started to address each other as brothers. This turn of events baffled Lin Jing somewhat. However, the current Lin Jing had no leisure to ponder these matters in depth, because he was now ready to start refining the Nirvana elixir. Sometime before, Lin Jing had visited Lu Youjio and delivered 2 more spirit-enhancing elixirs to him. Lu Youjio's aura had become more and more condensed by now. It seemed he was approaching the time for his breakthrough. Ever since Lin Jing had obtained the Nirvana elixir ingredients, more than a year had passed. Throughout this year, he had been practicing nonstop. He feared making mistakes, but now Lin Jing felt it was about time to refine the Nirvana elixir. At this moment, Lin Jing was seated in a lotus position inside the alchemy room of the system space. He had already informed Yu Qingyang that this upcoming pill refining was vital and must not be interrupted by anyone. Even with Yin Wanfei, Lin Jing had made it clear that he should not be disturbed for the next few days. Furthermore, to prevent any accidents, Lin Jing had even borrowed an array plate and placed it outside the alchemy room. Lin Jing was making all these preparations because he only had one chance at this alchemy attempt, and he couldn't afford to be careless. Although the system space provided advantages, reducing Lin Jing's chance of failure significantly, the possibility of failure still existed. If he truly failed, it would be a while before they could gather the ingredients to attempt refining a second batch. If that happened, without a nascent soul expert, all they could do when faced with the heavenly desired demon monarch was to flee. Regathering his thoughts, Lin Jing then opened his eyes. Next, he took out all the spirit plants that he had briefly processed for the Nirvana elixir refinement. Cosmos Nidium herb, Thousand Spirits divine leaf, Nirvana flower, Moonflow pure heart fruit, and so on. Having prepared these spirit plants, Lin Jing stood up and moved to the side of the cloud-patterned purple gold furnace. Next, Lin Jing circulated his spiritual power and then activated the formation patterns on the pill furnace. Countless intricate patterns started moving across the body of the furnace as if coming to life. Indeed, the formation patterns on the cloud-patterned purple gold furnace could be activated in advance. Once the formation patterns were active, Lin Jing again operated the divine fire triple realm. With a boom, a wisp of purple flame erupted from the palm of Lin Jing's hand. This purple flame didn't look particularly impressive, but in reality, its temperature was much higher than the white flame from the first realm of the divine fire triple realm. Perhaps, due to its evolution, it appeared more simple and unadorned. On the surface, it did not seem that frightening. Lin Jing then injected the flame into the bottom of the pill furnace, and as the purple flame began to heat up the base, the formation patterns on the body of the furnace started to move even faster. After waiting for another quarter of an hour and seeing that the timing was almost right, Lin Jing began adding the spirit plants in one by one. The refinement process for the Nirvana elixir was somewhat different from that of other elixir medicines. After adding a good portion of the spirit plants, Lin Jing sealed the furnace and began the refinement process. He continued until all the materials had been refined into a medicinal liquid. Only then did Lin Jing begin to add the remaining precious fourth-order spirit plants. However, he still did not add everything at once. The most vital ingredient, the Nirvana flower, was to be added last. When Lin Jing had added all the other fourth-order spirit plants and They had been refined into a medicinal liquid. The amount of the first batch of liquid in the pill furnace had already been reduced by half. It now matched the volume of the second batch. Only at this point did Lin Jing place the Nirvana flower into the furnace. After adding the Nirvana flower, Lin Jing immediately extended his divine sense. Simultaneously, he did not relax the input of spiritual power, making the purple flame at the base of the furnace even brighter. Inside the pill furnace, Lin Jing used his divine sense with precision, managing the two batches of medicinal liquid as they revolved around the Nirvana flower in the center of the furnace. Slowly, he melded the essence of the Nirvana flower completely into the medicinal liquid. If this step went well, the batch of Nirvana elixir would be nearly guaranteed success. Inside the pill furnace, two medicinal liquids were rotating around the central Nirvana flower. Meanwhile, Lin Jing used his divine sense to control the flow of the two medicinal liquids, maintaining a constant balance. This step was critical and could not afford any carelessness. Finally, after more than 12 hours of continuous refining, the two medicinal liquids had completely absorbed the medicinal power of the Nirvana flower at the center. The Nirvana flower then vanished, transforming into pure medicinal power, merging into the two masses of medicinal liquid. At last, this step was completed. Though completed, it was not yet time to relax. Now it was time to merge the two masses of medicinal liquid together. When those two masses merged with numerous essences of spiritual medicines into one, the Nirvana elixir would be considered successfully refined. However, this step would require a substantial amount of spiritual power and intense heat to fully merge the medicinal liquid. Since Lin Jing's alchemy session had already exceeded 12 hours, and during this process, both his spiritual power and divine sense had been significantly consumed. Moreover, his spiritual power was somewhat lacking at this juncture. Yet, despite Lin Jing's consumption of spiritual power reaching such levels, his face remained unchanged, and the signs of fatigue were not conspicuous. If one didn't look closely, it wouldn't even be noticeable. This resilience could all be attributed to his previous experiences on Immortal Crossing Island, especially the trial staircases there. With the tempering effect of those trials, Lin Jing's divine sense had become exceedingly resilient. Even refining fourth-order elixirs was quite effortless. So, before proceeding with the final step, Lin Jing took out a flawless yellow dragon elixir and swallowed it directly. Upon entering his mouth, the flawless yellow dragon elixir immediately transformed into pure medicinal power, flowing into Lin Jing's abdomen. The spiritual medicine turned into pure spiritual energy inside his stomach, swiftly replenishing Lin Jing's depleted spiritual power. In less than half an incense stick's burn time, Lin Jing's depleted spiritual power had nearly been restored. Next, Lin Jing was about to begin the final step. Then, Lin Jing formed a hand seal and channeled all his spiritual power towards the flames beneath the furnace. The purple flames roared all of a sudden, shooting up high flames instantaneously. The abrupt eruption of the purple flames also caused the temperature of the pill furnace to rise sharply. The formation patterns on the pill furnace began moving faster and faster. Lin Jing, utterly focused, used his divine sense to keep an eye on the two medicinal liquids within the pill furnace. And he carefully controlled the two masses of medicinal liquid, slowly drawing them toward the center. This step was particularly crucial and could not be handled carelessly, because the slightest inattention could result in an explosion. Many pill masters have faltered at this step in the past. Of course, Lin Jing dared not be negligent. While continuously channeling spiritual power into the purple flames, he used his divine sense to control the merging of the medicinal liquids. Under the high pressure within the pill furnace and the oppression of Lin Jing's divine sense, the two swirling medicinal liquids were gradually coming together. At that moment, time seemed to slow down, because the next hour felt like it lasted years for Lin Jing. In the pill furnace, those two medicinal liquids finally converged into a dazzlingly bright orb. At that moment, The intoxicating fragrance of the pills had already begun to emanate from the orb. Clearly, the elixir medicine was about to succeed. Thus, after the final period of effort, finally, when the enchanting pill fragrance filled the entire alchemy room, the system alert sounded. Ding! System alert. Congratulations to the host for successfully refining a 4th order elixir for the first time. Reward received, 40 harvest points. Elixir medicine refining successful. Alchemy proficiency plus 72. With no alert for flawless elixir medicine, this batch of Nirvana elixir did not yield flawless elixir medicine. Lin Jing couldn't help feeling slightly disappointed. However, even though he didn't produce a flawless Nirvana elixir, seeing the increase in alchemy proficiency from the system, it seemed the quality of the elixir medicine should not be too poor. Lin Jing then moved to the cloud pattern purple gold furnace and lifted the lid. Instantly, a plume of white smoke wafted out, and the truly intoxicating pill fragrance rushed towards him. This enchanting pill fragrance made even Lin Jing slightly distracted. After a moment, as the white smoke dispersed, Lin Jing finally saw the several round elixir medicines lying at the bottom of the furnace. Immediately after, Lin Jing reached into the pill furnace, scooped out the several elixir medicines, and began examining them in his palm. This batch of Nirvana elixirs was entirely purple. The higher the quality of elixir medicine, the more stunning its color. Of the elixir medicines Lin Jing had refined during this session, there were a total of 5 pills. 2 were supreme grade, 2 were superior grade, and 1 was medium grade. The quality of this batch of elixir medicine could be said to surpass what even those veteran pill masters, who had refined countless Nirvana elixirs, could achieve. And yet, Lin Jing, refining 4th order elixir medicine for the first time, had produced such remarkable results. Especially those 2 supreme grade Nirvana elixirs, currently shimmering with brilliant purple lights, were exceptionally luminous. After observing for a while, Lin Jing took out several jade vials and carefully stored each elixir medicine in them. Then, after storing the elixir medicines, he summoned the system and left the system space. Next, he needed to share this great news with others. After leaving the system space, Lin Jing appeared inside the alchemy room on top of the hill. This place could be considered his domain. Afterward, Lin Jing picked up the array plate that was placed inside the alchemy room, ended the protective formation, and put away the array plate. Then Lin Jing walked out. He made his way down to Li Yin City at the foot of the mountain, where he met Yan Wanfei. Upon seeing Lin Jing, Yan Wanfei was extremely surprised and blurted out, "Brother Lin, weren't you refining elixirs on the mountain? Why'd you come down?" Lin Jing didn't hide anything and directly responded to Yan Wanfei. "The elixir was successfully refined, so I came down to find you guys." Yan Wanfei nodded and said, "Oh, what elixir did you refine this time? Xingyuan pill or yellow dragon elixir?" Lin Jing shook his head and said, "Neither. That must be the rejuvenation pill. The rejuvenation pill is also good. Brother Jiao will definitely need it when he faces the tribulation," Yan Wanfei added. However, Lin Jing still shook his head. Just as Yan Wanfei was confused, Lin Jing spoke outright. "Nirvana elixir. It's already been successfully refined." At this point, Yan Wanfei seemed not to have registered the statement and casually replied, "Oh, Nirvana. Wait, did you just say Nirvana elixir?" Yan Wanfei's eyes instantly widened as he stared intently at Lin Jing. Fearing he had misheard, Lin Jing nodded and said, "Yes, it's the Nirvana elixir. I've already refined the Nirvana elixir. I came down the mountain this time to discuss this matter with you, Brother Liu and Brother Sanny. By the way, is Brother Liu still in seclusion? And how come it's only you here? Where is Brother Sanhe?" However, Yan Wanfei suddenly let out an excited yell, startling Lin Jing. "That's fantastic, really fantastic. With the Nirvana elixir refined, all we need to do is wait for Brother Jiao to prepare, and he can start the tribulation." After his excitement subsided, Yan Wanfei realized he had lost his composure, so he quickly added, "Brother Jiao has just finished his seclusion not long ago. he and Brother San, he went to find a location for the tribulation. Brother Joe also mentioned when he finished his seclusion that if he managed to refine the Nirvana elixir, then he could start the tribulation upon his next exit from seclusion. I didn't expect you to actually manage to refine it. By the way, Brother Lin, what quality is the Nirvana elixir you refined? And how many pills did you get? Before Lin Jing could answer, Yin Wanfei continued. Actually, for your first time refining a fourth-order medicinal pill, even if it's a low-grade pill and it succeeds, if you could refine a medium-grade pill, it would be a truly fortunate event. After all, it means success on the first furnace batch. Of course, for a superior-grade pill, we shouldn't even dream of it. That's something only many experienced veteran alchemists could possibly refine. Haha. Brother Lin, I must say, your alchemy level is quite impressive. Lin Jing then spoke in a low voice. This time, among the Nirvana elixirs I refined, there indeed was one medium-grade pill. Upon hearing this, Yin Wanfei's eyes immediately lit up, and he said, Really? That's really great. When Brother Gio and the others return, I will definitely tell them this great news. Having said that, Yin Wanfei looked at Lin Jing, constantly rubbing his hands. Brother Lin, can I take a look at that medium-grade Nirvana elixir? Lin Jing nodded. Sure. After speaking, Lin Jing immediately reached into a storage bag and took out a small jade vial. Lin Jing first opened it to check and confirmed it was indeed that medium-grade Nirvana elixir. Then, he handed it over to Yin Wanfei. Yin Wanfei, extremely excited, took the small jade vial and then peeked inside, his gaze becoming stuck. His behavior made Lin Jing, who was initially planning to take out the superior and supreme-grade Nirvana elixirs, hesitate for a moment. Seeing how excited he was about this medium-grade Nirvana elixir, if he were to show him the superior grade and even supreme-grade Nirvana elixirs, that might just drive Yin Wanfei mad today. Radiating purple light, rich and intoxicating pill fragrance. It is indeed a medium-grade Nirvana elixir. Brother Lin, you are truly amazing. Lin Jing, flattered, quickly said to Yin Wanfei. Brother Yin, why don't you calm down a bit? After all, there's more than one Nirvana elixir here. I still have some. Lin Jing, at this moment, was being very vague. He didn't know how Yin Wanfei would react if he actually mentioned the superior and supreme-grade Nirvana elixirs. Other Nirvana elixirs. Oh, you mean those low-grade Nirvana elixirs. When the time comes, just hand them all to Brother Gio, as his rank advancement this time was too rushed and preparations were not sufficient. A medium-grade Nirvana elixir might not be enough. By then, taking a few more Nirvana elixirs can provide additional assurance, right? By the way, Brother Lin, how many Nirvana elixirs did you refine in total with this batch? Lin Jing then spoke, saying, This time in refining, a total of 5 were produced.